Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can contribute to Inmanta and in specific adding OSPF version 3 to our VyOS module. If you have been following the two previous videos, you saw how first we can set up a container lab and bring up VyOS routers, and then how you can configure OSPF version 2 on these two routers. So I'm building on top of that examples. I'm having my two routers. They are directly connected through their ETH1 interface. And then we're gonna configure OSPF version 3 on them by using Inmanta. We need a few things to be able to achieve this. So either you need to follow my approach using Container Lab, or you can have a Docker container or a VM running VyOS. You need Python 3.9 or newer, and if your system doesn't ship it Python 3.9 or newer, you can use pyenv to install that. Then we are going to fork and make a new branch for our VyOS module, and then we will install the requirements, get to work, make the model, write the test cases, and move on. Alright, without any further ado, let's get started. I'm here at github.com/Inmanta. Here I'm gonna search for VyOS. Click on this one. Click on fork. I'm going to grab the link and clone it on my local disk. Let's move inside the folder. Let's see the branch. It says master. So now we need to create a branch for our development work. Add OSPF v3 support. Notice that how I chose a name which is indicative enough of what I'm trying to contribute and what I'm trying to achieve. Here we go. Now we can open it in VS Code. Next, we need to create a virtual environment and install the requirements. So if I go here on my terminal, pyenv local 3.912. okay, now my Python version in this folder has changed to 3.9.12, which is different from my system's Python. Now we can grab this command here. The virtual environment has been created. Now we can activate it. Here we go, the prompt also changed. Now we can install the requirements. Okay. Perfect. Let's clear the screen as well. Let's see what else we need to do here. By the way, the test environment, as discussed here, can be also found in this link. It will show you how you can set up the environment and set up the lab without watching the previous videos. Next, we need to create a clean slate configuration file. So whenever we run the test cases, the test case goes ahead and restores the configuration to our clean slate to make sure there are no conflicts or nothing surprising is going to happen by using these two commands here. So I'm going to copy them from here, go to the terminal. I'm already logged into the router. I'm going to paste them in. There we go. Exit. And if you do a show configuration commands, we can see there is just IP address configuration and nothing related to OSPF so far. Okay, now let's go to the model. If you open the init file and if you search for OSPF, let's go all the way up. Here we can see the OSPF configuration starts from this line and continues all the way here. But this is not all. So let me make it more clear to read. I'm gonna add some delimiters. All right, this is for OSPF version 2. So it means I can borrow them. Let's do so. This is the entity. That means there should be an implementation and then an implement statement. Let's search for them. Here we go. This is the implementation. Let's put it here. And then we need the implement as well. Did I pass it? Here we go. And that's it. Now let's change the namings and I'm gonna explain what each of these does. So this has to be Swift version 3. Let's also change this to V3. I have the command line configuration for OSPF version 3. Let me just grab them from here. Let's put it here for okay. So these two commands or these three commands configure OSPF on a router. So you can notice these are the same, just different interface names, and we are having a router ID. But on version 2, you can see we are having a network, a router ID, passive interfaces, ABR type. We don't need any of those, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove them. We don't need a network anymore, we need interfaces. Let's make it a list of strings. Router ID is fine and area is fine. The node name is protocols OSPF version 3, which is fine. You can see we are using Jinja 2 templates. At the moment this file doesn't exist, but I'm gonna create it. We don't need this redistribute statements here anyway. And the implement is fine. So this is all I need to introduce OSPF version 3 in our model. Next is creating this Jinja 2 template. So if you go to templates folder, this is OSPF. I'm gonna copy it, paste it, and name it V3. Here we go. Let's close this and see what we need. Let's put it here and here. Okay, so ABR type, we don't need that, and we don't need any passive interfaces or redistribution, so I'm gonna just delete those as well. This has to be V3. Parameters router ID is fine, so this has to become interfaces, and this has to be interface. There you go. Okay, now let's save this and exit. I don't need this anymore either. So we are done with two parts, the model, the template, and now we go to the most important part, which is the test cases. At Inmanta, we write a lot of test cases to make sure we are catching the bugs very early on. All right, let's have a look under the tests folder. Here you can see different tests. I can see the OSPF one. I'm just gonna copy this as well and make one for version 3. V3, And let's quickly see what it does. We can see we are importing VyOS helper from the conf.test file. So if we go to the conf.test file, we should see what's going on. So this is our VyOS helper class. It has a bunch of things. And the most important part for us is this clear function inside, or clear method inside of this class. And what it does is, it is loading that clean slate configuration before running each test to make sure we are clean and we are not having any weird potential issues. And this is coming from the command that we ran here. Okay. And then we are having a few fixtures, VyOS and VyHost. We can see the VyOS is depending on this VyHost, and it is giving us this VyOS helper class or object, and it is running the clear method. Let's see what do we have here. So on top we are having convert bool. We will get to that very soon. We are having test OSPF. Let's make it v3. It has a bunch of things inside. Then we are having redistribute. We don't need this, so I'm going to delete it. Okay, let's see what do we have here. So we are having a nested function inside of our test OSPF version 3, and what it does is it is compiling and creating a new model, new Inmanta model for OSPF. We need to change a few things here. This has to become OSPF v3. We don't have the network anymore, it's interfaces. And the interface I want to activate OSPF on is ETH1. Router ID, let's go with quadruple ones. Then we are having purged, which is using this convert bool. And what it does is, if it's false, it means we want the configuration to be there. But if we make it to true or set it to true, it means we want to remove the configuration. Okay. So the first thing we do is we compile this model. We purge to false. We run the write on resource, and basically what it does is it contacts the router and compares what we are trying to put on the device and what's already there. In this case, we can see there is a difference. We are comparing that. Then we go ahead and deploy this resource. So we are putting the OSPF configuration there. Then again, we do a dry run to make sure now there are no more changes to be done, meaning the deployment was successful. In the next run, we pass the parameter true to our make config, so it sits here, page becomes true, and the OSPF configuration gets deleted. And as you can see, we are checking all of those there. Let's do something fun. All right, we are deploying this resource. Let's actually see how it sits on the device. So I'm gonna comment everything here, all the way here, save the file. Let's go to the terminal and say pytest test OSPF v3, run it. It failed. Did I save the file? No. Let's save it. Clear this one. Perfect. The test passed. Now we should be able to see the config on the router. So here I'm gonna add some spaces here. Run it and check this out. The OSPF configuration is here. Now let's see if we can see router 2. Show IPv6 OSPF neighbor. And perfect. We can see our neighbor here, and the BDR is its role. Now let's enable the rest of the test here. Save. Go back to our test. PyTest. Very well. Now let's see what happened to the device. Here, let's check the configuration first. No more OSPF configuration. And if you check the process, OSPF is not running. Very well. Just like that, we added a new feature to the VyOS module. So the next step would be to pushing all this configuration or opening a pull request. How do we do that? First, let's see what we did so far. Okay, we modified the init file and we added two new files. Let's just add those two files. Templates, there we go, and tests, there we go. And we don't need this Python version. We can put it in our gitignore file. But since it's a very simple demonstration, I'm not gonna go ahead and do that in this video. All right, now let's commit. Add OSPF v3 support. Make sure to have a meaningful commit message so it's easier for the reviewer to see also what has changed. Very well. Now let's push. There you go. Now it's inside of my fork. If I click on this link, we should be able to open a PR against the master branch, which is owned by Inmanta. So make sure to read all of this and fill them appropriately. For the sake of demonstration, let's go add OSPF v3 support. It's respective test case and Jinja template. Make sure to assign it to yourself and create a pull request. And you can see on top, we are pushing it to the master branch on Inmanta's repo. Very well. If you have reached this point, someone at Inmanta will receive your PR. We will review it, run the tests also from our end. If it's successful, we will reach out to you and maybe have a good gift for you, a surprise. And also, if you like doing these things and you really like this contribution, make sure to check out our carriers page. I will also put this in the video description. And you can check our open positions now. We are actively hiring at the moment. If you don't see a position which is 100% matched to your skills, don't worry about it. Just let us have a chat. You can click on this button and we can get in touch. Anyway, I hope my explanation was comprehensive and at the same time simple enough for you to get started and add new features. I would like to thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Bye.